you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Welcome to this week's broadcast of Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch, broadcasting from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're in week 6 of the Overwatch 2 Rumble with the release of the Overwatch 2 beta last month, and the entire Rumble will take place in Overwatch 2. And this week our Rumble is expanded to 2 groups. Both will have a grand finals next week that are competing, and so we'll see who will get to those grand finals this week in the group stage. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer. Joining me to call all the action is already Nerdy Rain. And Nerdy, we were talking just a little bit before the broadcast of just some of the differences between Overwatch and Overwatch 2 with the 5v5 and how it changes the whole pace of the game.
Yeah, so the best way I can describe it is it is basically through and through after the first fight, nothing but scrappy fights. It's like basically free-for-all, kind of, there's 5 people playing, so it's team deathmatch really is what it is. There is no stomping, soft resetting, and then going again. The maps are so huge that there's just no time for it. I mean, on the older maps, we might see some team fights actually get set up past the first one, but beyond that, just expect team deathmatch.
Well, it's sure going to test our players' endurance. And speaking about endurance and staying healthy, before we kick off everything, we have Brittany Michael, a registered dietitian nutritionist with Vitamin Shop, who's talking to us today about staying healthy during those long gaming sessions, some of those scrappy fights Nerdy was talking about. So we're very glad to have Brittany Michaels with us of Vitamin Shop. We will have her with us in the call as soon as we can. There we are. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you so much. So we've been talking just about, kind of these long gaming sessions gamers can have, especially with Overwatch 2. What are some of kind of the best meal replacements for gamers during a gaming session to help keep them energized?
Absolutely. So I get this question a lot, and not just with gamers. So ready-to-drink options are probably the easiest way to get a meal in during a gaming session. So Orgain has both whey and vegan ready-to-drink options, and Redcon offers a Whole Foods ready-to-drink nutrition shake called MRE.
Oh,
and then
gosh.
we also have bars.
I'm having flashbacks to when I used to work for the military.
Absolutely, yes. And then we have bars as well, which are easy because it doesn't require any food prep. We have a bar called Plant, spelled PLNT. That's a plant-based bar, and their peanut butter chocolate chip is my absolute favorite. And Body Tech Elite is another bar that we carry that offers a whey with Whole Foods option. So I like that too. And
Well,
then, of course, for those that have a little bit of time to step away and mix like a powder into water, we also have Plant and the Body Tech Elite also have meal replacement powders that are a little bit more cost effective and almost as convenient.
So it's interesting, you were mentioning kind of a lot of healthy and kind of vegan options in your product lineup, and that just kind of leads to the more general question of what tips can you give gamers to lead a healthy lifestyle while gaming?
Absolutely. So I have 5 tips for leading a healthy lifestyle while gaming. So the first one is aiming for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week. Adequate exercise improves cognitive function and memory, as well as strengthening muscles that commonly fatigue while gaming. So your lower back, your wrists, your shoulders. And I always say if you have trouble trying to schedule a daily workout session, then even setting an hourly alarm to get up and move and stretch can be supportive. Number 2 is getting at least 30 minutes of sunshine a day, which I know can be hard for some of us. We make vitamin D in our skin from the sun, and D is needed for so many processes in the body, including mental health, hormones, metabolism, and it even turns on and off our immune system. So if we can't get enough sunshine, I always say take a vitamin D supplement. Number 3 is getting enough water. So aiming for half your body weight in ounces per day. So if you're 150 pounds, you need around 68 ounces or about 8.5 measuring cups per day. Being on the dehydrated side can negatively influence both energy and concentration. Number 4 is aiming for a minimum of 7 hours of sleep a night and using blue light blocking glasses if you plan to see a screen within 2 hours before bedtime. Seeing too much of that blue light before bed can mess up our circadian rhythm. And then the last one related to diet is just choosing whole foods and including a protein and fiber source at every meal. This helps maintaining balance blood sugars, which will help improve concentration and energy levels.
So just kind of to work off that last question about whole foods and things that provide you energy, what are some good energy supplements you have for gamers?
Absolutely. So there's two different answers here. One is that we need to cover all of our baseline nutrient needs for proper energy metabolism. So if we're missing nutrients in the diet, it will negatively impact our energy levels. So a multivitamin is the easiest way to cover all of our baseline nutrient needs. And B vitamins are in a multivitamin, and those are needed for energy production. So V Thrive is one of the best multivitamins on the market, and they offer male, female, and gender neutral bioactive multivitamin options. And then I'm sure you've heard outside of baselines being covered with a multivitamin, there are also drink powders that have been formulated to reduce gaming fatigue and support mental focus. So just like a pre-workout for athletes, these gamer powders have caffeine, but also include nootropics, which are compounds that enhance cognitive memory, cognition, memory, focus, and reaction time. And two of my favorites are Redcon's War Games and Game Day by Man Sports. And some that don't want to do drinks could also take a capsule option. So For Brain by Force Factor has one, and so does the Genius brand has a product called Genius Gamer.
Do they by chance offer sugar-free options for those energy, like those mixed drinks? Because there's quite a few of our team members who actually have, who are diabetic. So I'm wondering for their sake.
Great question. So most of these powder options are nothing like Red Bull. They are, carb-free or really just focused on those nootropic side of the benefits.
All right. Sounds like quite a lineup, a lot of interesting stuff that can, I'm sure, help gamers. I am sure a lot of our Esports Tower players are probably taking some right now, and hopefully it'll help them do their best. We've been talking with Brittany Michaels of Vitamin Shop. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, and now we are ready to get to the Overwatch stage of this broadcast, taking entirely in place, as we were saying, in the Overwatch 2 beta. 2 stages for this fight, and Group A is going to include the Cyclones, Wolves, and Tsunamis, whereas Group B is going to include the Landslides, Riptides, Everests, and Tornadoes. And Nerdy, when looking at this list of teams, does anyone stand out to you?
Definitely going to be keeping an eye on Team Everest, Team Tornadoes, and Team Riptides. Kind of that full entire actually bottom stack is a team to be looking out for, in my opinion. I'm really interested to see how the Wolves perform because I don't feel like we've seen enough of them just yet. And we got to keep in mind that the Overwatch beta, it was not around for a very long time, was not here for a very long time to begin with for all of these players. So it's going to be very interesting how they adapt to some of the changes that are introduced, especially because during the beta process, almost every week there are hero changes being rolled out. My personal favorite right now is the Zenyatta kick that now boops you like 6 feet back. It is absolutely beautiful to see that a Zenyatta can now get environmental kills.
I call it the Rocket strategy. Just kick them until they fly off the end.
Yes.
But there are probably some better tips that these players can keep in mind, and those are going to be Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. That's going to be never take a fair fight. That means to take fights in unexpected places when they are unprepared, and keep your tank alive because you don't have 2 anymore. It's Doc's keys to the game, brought to you by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Our first matchup of the night is going to be the Cyclones versus the Tsunamis. So overall, what are you thinking of this particular matchup?
I am thinking that it is ultimately going to be whichever team is going to be utilizing flank angles the most. I'm very curious to see what map we're starting out on. I think we're starting out on push, correct?
It looks like actually Ilios is going to be.
Okay, so we're going to go King of the Hill first. So no flanking. This is very traditional Overwatch. Because these are the older maps, this is actually going to be coming down to who has the most organized fights and can reconvene the fastest, because these smaller maps heavily rely on that. Those first 2 Doc's keys of the game really play into the older Overwatch-style maps. And then, of course, across the board, keep your tank alive. If you lose the support, good luck, tank.
Well, we'll kick off the night with a Group A match between the Cyclones
Ready
and
for
Tsunamis.
battle.
Who will get the first series win of the night? We'll find out. Speaking of the Cyclones, they've been experimenting with comps to try to find a thing that will work in a good way and get the team on the same page and playing at the same level. So hopefully they will find something that works out for them.
Well, the thing is that, like with Overwatch 2, it feels like almost every composition can possibly work. Oh, yes, we can look at the Helios. Well, good luck if
4,
anyone ends up in that, because we do have a
2,
Winston who's going to be,
1.
well, sorry, a
Round
Roadhog who's going to be
1.
looking for those
Capture
boosts.
the objective.
Almost every single composition can possibly work. It's just a matter of making sure that you have a support that can synergize with your tank and having a support that can synergize with your DPS. If all of you can synergize, that's even better, but that's not a requirement anymore in a 5v5 style.
All right, as we're ready to head in, the Tsunamis are going to be on the left, Cyclones on the right. Tsunamis first to get to the point and trying to pep some damage onto the Roadhog via the Echo in midair, but the Hog is staying alive. I don't know really if you can land a hook quite in midair. That would be quite a showy play, but for right now, it's just going to be some presence that gives the Tsunamis the point first.
So the thing that's really scary about Roadhogs right now is the amount of survivability that they have, and Mercy, please try not to do that again. Unless they land an anti and then everyone focuses the Roadhog, the odds of them dying are very slim. We did finally see them go down, but you're 100% right. They survived for so long. And we do see C-Squared and Shai Pengi are going to swap over to Lucio Moira. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're switching over to the Wrecking Ball as well for the Cyclones. So this is a heavy dive comp, and this is going to basically be, you know, Wrecking Ball and Lucio are going to be able to go in together because Lucio is such a heavy carry hero right now. And then Reaper can just do whatever the heck he wants. Moira, the whole goal is to just stay out of danger.
Yeah, that also kind of goes for the Reaper too, because you're not going to be able to fight this Echo as far up as she is in the air with those shotguns. And just look at this poor Wrecking Ball getting damage peppered onto him. Now in a small room like this, that Reaper could do some damage, but right now this Winston's getting right in their face. It's going to focus so much damage, take out Barbecue, and force him back to spawn.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Ethan on that Ana, that's so much sustain for a Winston, and then Tracer, you know, you've got Recall, you know where the health packs are, you play around those, maybe you get a top off from Mercy, and Ethan really just has to play out of major damage areas, and that's the huge advantage of being an Ana, is that you're out of fight so far back doing healing, that if someone comes after you, they're also out of the fight. If 2 people come after you, well, that's a very bad decision for the enemy team to put 2 people on you when the fight is completely across the map.
Well, we see a swap over from the Cyclones, going to be going over to the Rhine and off the Wrecking Ball. And it's going to stick the pulse bomb. That is filthy right there. It's going to get answered back, and they're going to trade 4v4. Right now, there goes the copy. It's going to allow a Shatter to be brought out, taking out Barbecue. And on the point, Tsunamis still look like they might be holding, but Cyclones are putting quite a fight on it. Dragon is just jumping all over the place, trying to pressure all 3 members of the Cyclones off the point, and they're already up to 90%.
So one of the things to keep in mind is that, you know, on these older Overwatch maps, it still pertains to your hero's kit and ability, plays into its ability to actually be vital and usable on that map. Reinhardt is not normally a tank you would see here unless you were playing Reinhardt Winston, and that's double main tank, and that's not something that's even possible anymore in Overwatch 2. So you don't want to be pulling out Ryan here, and you don't want to really be pulling out Ryan on Watchpoint Gibraltar either. It's just, the synergy on the map with the kit does not work out. We'll have to see if this Ryan tells me otherwise. I mean, they can lock it down here, but playing Ryan into that dive, ooh, good luck.
Well, that Echo's trying to get away, is going to be able to escape as the Tsunamis reset. Tsunamis also not necessarily going to have too much. The pulse bomb is going to be online for them, but they got to be cognizant about where the Shatter is here, because that was going to stop them in their tracks.
I totally get what you're saying, but if Ana plays high ground, no one else should really get shattered. Maybe Dragon Shadow might, but you've got an Ana who's going to throw a nade on you at that very moment. So that goes to playing into how is this Ryan really going to get value into this comp and on this map. And he's already been selected.
Yep, it's more of a question of, you know,
oh, there's the pulse.
Make sure you're using that high ground to your advantage and don't give him the opportunity where the Shatter can be good. Already, there goes the Death Blossom. It's going to just be a trade back and forth, but Echo and Dark both picking up one to put them up in this overall fight. Cyclones is really trying to pressure this Ana here, who's staying alive. It's actually going to take out Barbecue. All the supports cry for joy because that was a hero play.
One of the big things to remember is that with the changes to Overwatch, from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 with the supports is you know, you can't take away a tank, one of the people that protect your supports, and keep your supports as squishy as they used to be. So one of the things that was changed is the amount of damage they're able to output, and this is basically what we consider Ana 2.0, and that is you are a healer first, but right after that you are not afraid to take the 1v1s anymore as an Ana player, and that is why you have to send 2 people after an Ana who can land their shots or land their sleeps, and if someone does that, well, their front line is now very weak.
Tsunamis go up 1-0. They've been mainly working on refining their 5-person dive comps and working on target calling, prioritizing, and team shots. And Dark has moved over to DPS in Overwatch 2. He's been a very reliable asset to the Tsunamis on comms and in mechanics.
Having someone who is capable of moving over from one role to the next, and this definitely is something you've seen on the Broncos as well, having Plato go from DPS to take it back to DPS, is that it affects how the comms and how they think about the game as a whole, and that game knowledge is huge. The ability to play multiple roles and be good at it or dedicate the time to get good at it is a skill that I feel like every Overwatch player should have.
Well, the objective is going to be Cyclones try to get the initial pick here. That is trying to pepper some damage onto this Echo here. They move in, almost capturing it, and just managed to get the tick on it, but Dragon Shadow is back with a vengeance, eliminating Bad. Now it's going to be a fight between him and the Rhine here on point. Trying to push them off the edge, and it's just a miss.
So that goes back to one of those really old docs keys to the game: win the fight, then win the point, because this has been a very, very struggled maintain on that point. Yes, you got 16%, but at what cost? Look at how much ult charge the Tsunamis have right now by playing that slower and surrounding and conquering the point versus the Cyclones, whereas really the only person that got a lot of value was the Reinhardt, but how is that Shatter going to work with no one's playing low ground?
Now that 16% has been very quickly made up by the Tsunamis. Dark has this pulse bomb online with as cheeky as he was last time. I have to wonder, where is he hiding right now? Is he gonna try? There he is. He's kind of in the center. We'll see how that works out. We also have the nano boost online for Ethan there.
Hopefully this Ana is ult tracking and is aware that if their Winston is up there and does not have bubble in the perfect spot, where he engages right here and this Rhine does a 180, probably gonna get shattered. You need to use that nano to keep them alive. We do see Dark, well, Dragon is gonna be able to pick out 2. Dark's gonna go down, unfortunately, but Party up by 1, playing a little slow. This should be okay, and there's a whiffed shatter coming out from our poor Reinhardt.
Yeah, that's just kind of a textbook example of when you don't want to shatter. Both your DPSs are gone. The fight is lost at that point. Now you've just pressed Q and cost some even more eco for your team.
Dragon, no one saw that. It's okay.
They're still in the lead.
Right now, I would really be hoping that we would see the Reinhardt here swap over to something with a little bit more mobility. Orisa doesn't really play super easily onto this map, especially into a comp that just surrounds you, and a Winston that just throws damage through your shield anyway. And are we going to see some environmentals, or are you going to get environmental, Dragon?
He's going to have to be careful, but he's also fine just swapping them into the wall and copy out onto the Rhine, and filthy charge and shatter to follow it up. Creating chaos on the point. Echo is doing work, but it's not going to be enough as 2 eliminations already gotten by the Cyclones. They bring out the Death Blossom to try to clear it, but Echo and Dragon Shadow manage to survive. They actually clear out the point and keep it in the Tsunami's hands.
That's one of the huge things about Dive as well, is the ability to just continue to get touches on that point, stop the cap from happening, and you can go down 1 and just play a little bit slower, play in the line of sight of whichever support's still alive, and keep touching that point off and on to make sure it doesn't flip. That's absolutely huge and a huge strength of the Tsunami's comp.
A lot of ultimates being pressed right now. Nano boost, Valkyrie. Bob is going to try to make a difference right now, but Echo and Dragon Shadow are just having too much fun right now. Ain Shao takes out the Immortality Field, then gets C-squared. Bob is on the point, though, and manages to eliminate Dragon Shadow. Echo coming in, trying to still maintain a presence, but with a well-placed Dynamite is going to get taken out. And I think that might be the point 1, except there is a res on the point thanks to that Mercy, and there you go, they got it.
Shai Penguin, I commend you, but as the Lucio, honestly, you go in and you go out and you play through those windows, because you just need to get 1 pixel on the point to stop that timer from completely converting. And maintaining that first stall is huge. It comes with time. I totally understand it's difficult to pull off.
Well, overall, the Tsunamis are going to go up to, it looks like the match points. I think these are best of threes in the group stage. We're just have to find out. I do know that the next stage for sure is going to be Midtown. So we still aren't moving toward push. You'll have to wait for that.
I know, but I want my push.
Well, it is a fun mode, but we'll have to do something a little bit. But I do gotta say, for a mode that we're used to, I love the aesthetics of Midtown. Like,
Yes.
it is one of the most gorgeous stages I've ever seen.
I will 100% give that to Activision Blizzard. Y'all did amazing on the aesthetics. I mean, now that the beta is technically over for most of us, when I am playing on Overwatch 1, it feels so gosh darn clunky half the time. I'm like, the tick rate didn't even change. It's just the aesthetics are so much smoother. I don't know what they did,
Sure.
how they changed it. I'm pretty sure they're still using the same animation engine, too. It's just things got smoothed out.
RTX on.
Yeah, it looks very nice. It flows very nicely. Granted, team fights still just feel clunky. That's just how it's going to be for a while. But Midtown is gorgeous, and New Queen Street is also gorgeous. But my favorite has to be Coliseo.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of great... You're just finding any way you can to just try to insert push into the
Maybe.
conversation just to try to get us there. Well, overall, let's head on down to Midtown and see what's going on. Will the Tsunamis claim the victory here? We'll just have to find out as we're ready to go right now. I love Deco Punk as an aesthetic. I mean, you can keep your steampunk, but Deco Punk and Diesel Punk for me, I just love that.
I didn't know that this was a subgenre of the, like, the punky.
Yeah. So steampunk, just while we're ready to get up, just as a quick, aside. So steampunk is like, 1890s, 1880s. The world never moved beyond steam technology. Diesel punk is the offshoot of that. That's a few decades in the 30s and 40s, never really moving past diesel technology. So you'll see, think BioShock did. That's deco punk, which is kind of an offshoot of diesel punk, which focuses more on the aesthetics. But like BioShock and stuff that really focuses on that 1940s, 30s aesthetic of deco and World War II technology, that's deco and diesel punk. And that's technically my favorite, which is why I like this stage.
When I was going through my, it's not a phase, mom phase, I definitely was into the cyberpunk and just the goth in general. So I'm familiar actually with cyberpunk a little bit more than I am with
So you've got all the time ranges to choose from. You got steampunk, diesel punk, and cyberpunk.
Absolutely beautiful. And this is the one thing that I will say is a weird change. It works great. It's annoying. It's not the worst thing to deal with because it's only a 1-second hack, but Dark is going to abuse it here, and that is hacking while still inside stealth on Sombra is absolutely so annoying. It's like Yoru from Valorant crossed with Sombra from Overwatch 1, and yeah, it's just not fun.
Right now, it looks like Tsunamis have managed to hold off the Cyclones for right now, burn a bit of time. Gonna have about 3 minutes. Using the Junkrat on attack here, almost taking out Dark there, who manages to escape.
We do have this Hanzo looking to use his Sonic Arrow to try and get some information on where people are staying. Managing to push back quite a few members here of Tsunamis. That is great, but this Sombra is just going to make this Reinhardt's life a little difficult.
Ooh, Echo taking a bit of damage there from the Hanzo. Rain Shadow is going to be the first one. And I always like it when we have the dueling Shimada brothers on opposite teams right now. And right now, Genji seems to be the winner of that one. They're dueling right in the train like a movie climax, and it's going to be Tsunamis winning that fight, keeping hold of the point.
And I do believe we previously saw Barbecue, and I mentioned this the last time I was able to broadcast. Sorry for not being here last week, anyone who's watching, by the way. Barbecue abused that upper train area, and this was prior to an update getting dropped where you can't spend as much time up there as people used to be able to spend. Happy about it. It made Junkrats and Widowmakers that like to abuse it, Kefri, a little unhappy though.
And now the Sombra's going to get fined out. Probably he's going to have to teleport back as Cyclone's trying to take some sort of ultimate route, or in fact are just going to get pushed into this narrow alleyway. And a shadow brought out on from Moist there. He's going to be able to put a dent in the Tsunamis, but Dark's still doing work here.
Oh no, Lucio, you got a little too over-aggressive.
There goes Dark, is going to teleport back. Just hack one of those health packs, and right now still no tick gotten for the Cyclones at all.
90 seconds left though, with the way I mentioned earlier, lots of scrappy fights. We've had a couple of resets here, but not entire resets. It isn't, you know, into now. You can actually get out for some reason. Perhaps we'll see that change. Maybe there's no way they're going to buff Lucio. They just nerfed him. So the ability to get out is going to constantly be a thing. It's a matter of full regrouping. But now we got to look at like the Cyclones. They have only beat Entire coming online, whereas we have EMP, Genji Blade, Primal Rage, and B online for the Tsunamis. So the counter ability right now is not going to be very high. But they need to play it smart because that was 2 ultimates so far. And Lukey, please hang on to your beat, otherwise you might all become barbecue for barbecue.
There you go. That's a whole team wipe right there. If you didn't notice, Moist has kind of rotated in for the Cyclones. Coaches tell us he's a good addition to the roster, has already fit in really well. Comfortable on comms and bringing a good atmosphere to the team. And right now, a good team morale is definitely what the Cyclones need because they need to find a way to bring it together now. They need to claim this point.
We do see Barbecue looking for a safe spot to get ready and use his jump tire, but gotta keep in mind that wherever that tire comes out into line of sight, someone's gonna see it. You're most likely gonna get barbecued afterwards. Yes, I'm gonna continue to make punts, and we do immediately see Dragon and Ishu line go down. Well, sorry, take down Tri Penguin and C-Squared.
Barbecue just kind of getting mowed down there in that dark alleyway. It's like in real life and in this game. Don't get caught in a dark alleyway in a big city.
Yes, real life threats coming from your casuals on desk in Overwatch. And there we go again, on a damage. And this is something that's very, very common here in Overwatch 1 is Overwatch 2 is taking point seconds before the game would be over. And I do think we're going to see
sneaky tire. He's trying to go. Does he have enough time though? He doesn't. He's only going to be able to take out the Ana. Maybe that will be enough. They've already gotten 1 tick here. The Tsunamis are still fighting on the point, trying to get away. Dark might be able to do enough damage. We'll just have to see here. He's going to be able to take out Moist. All that's left is bad. Like you said, Nerdy, it's a scrappy fight on the point, and eventually Cyclones take it.
That's just how it is. And the funny part is, previously with Overwatch maps, the spawn, even on Hybrid, would tend to be a little bit too far to handle to try and get a retake very easily here for your team. But especially here, it's quite close, and it puts you in a very bad situation if your team is not going to be calling, okay, this fight's done, we're giving up, and we are all going to rotate and take the high ground. Otherwise, someone just puts themselves right there on that right side where all of the building stuff is, and they get the lead.
There goes Coalescence, brought out by Shy to start things off for the Cyclones. Doesn't look like anyone is going to fall to that, but it will help keep the team alive. Right now, we also have Nano Boost that just was available to Ethan. We'll see when he decides to use that. There goes the teleport up from Bad, trying to get right in their faces, maybe for the Death Blossom here, trying to take out the Genji. There goes the Primal Rage, popped by Moist to try to keep him alive. Trades back and forth between Echo and Bad, both at 4v4 for this fight, almost heading into the tunnel. And another huge hack. The question is there going to be the damage follow-up to get back? Doesn't look like it. Again, it's just trading back and forth. Now the Genji blade ventilates and Never is going to get a triple.
Each team picks up 3. Moist returns the favor friendly to come out. Dark did pick up Moist shortly thereafter, though. Payload kind of just stalling out, though.
Yeah, I don't know what the worst significance of this fire truck.
I actually can tell you there is an accident on one of the railways that when we get inside the actual inside the station, you'll hear them discussing it over the intercom system, and this is where that fire truck is going. Now the extended lore from that is that the line 1, I think is what it is, that is currently having a fire on it, is possibly the line that leads to Route 66 and is the one that is blown up by the deadlock gang.
Yeah. Well, it's probably all due to this poor response time, because in real life, if a fire truck is moving this slow, it can't be good.
Yeah, you're hitting a lot of red lights there, bub.
There goes Dark and Dragon Shadow. This putting up a huge red light to the Cyclones, saying you are not going to move any farther here. They're going to keep that fire truck stalled under that bridge.
Yeah, I'm just more nerds, so if anyone wants to tag me in more Overwatch 2 or on Twitter, I will happily watch and read all of it. Just FYI, the Nerdy Bird on Twitter.
Also, the Nerdy Bird on Twitter, also please bring in push, just in case. I just want to see push today.
Make it the push.
There goes Barbecue trying to move in here. I don't necessarily know he's starting. He's trying to get away. Has this Riptire. I don't know if it's going to be a hero Riptire. One of them gets caught in that trap. Follow it up. Now where's the Riptire going? Going to take out the Tsunami. Where are you? You don't have much time left.
Lucio! Oh, you took a little bit too long. I understand wanting to do the sneaky stall out with the fire, but honestly, with how close we've had Barbecue cutting it with that timer running out, maybe just gun-ho on it would be better.
Be nourished.
Now the fire truck is moving still uncharacteristically slowly right now for the Cyclones. Luki does manage to put a little bit of a dent in them. Look at this flank here also by the Tsunamis. Echo trying to get them. They turn around. That's a very well placed teleport away from the Reaper, but now he's going to get some pressure put on him. Coalescence trying to keep the Cyclones alive. They're still maintaining a presence on the point.
And in case anyone thinks I'm being biased, yes, I am wanting the Cyclones to win this round out. I'm equal for both sides, okay? Tsunamis won the first map, but now that we're on hybrid, now I want the Cyclones to do it. And then after that, it's okay.
And then it's fine, but just please give us push. Well, at the end, it looks like, that's going to be the end of the road for the Cyclones. I mean, that Tsunamis are not going to have to make it the full way to win this.
No, but in the words of every collegiate Overwatch player yet ever, it's winnable. It is still very doable. You saw how close and how long it took for that point to get capped. Like I said, that's pretty standard right now for the way Overwatch works. And it's really gross, but one of the tactics that you can go with is, okay, we're in the last 45 seconds, no one use ults. And then in the last fight on the point, everybody uses the ults.
Oh, that is a nice car.
You know, I'm a little shocked that they would think taxis still exist at this point in time.
That is true. Well, that's why it's in the museum, but there are some on the street, I suppose.
That taxi has obviously got, you know, the floating tires on it, so they've existed long enough for them to make it to that point.
I just gotta say, it's old tech, but cars from the 40s, 50s, they look great. I'm looking at old TV shows from the 70s and 80s and thinking, what a horrible pair of decades for automotive history.
Some of them are very ugly.
Yeah, and just in general, I love that in this future city, all of the automobiles keep the current aesthetics for design of cars right now. I've still seen Crown Vics in the late 21st, early 22nd century.
We can let the record show the cars are going more bubble-like, and that just does not look cool aesthetically speaking for video games. I do not.
The Crown Vic never goes out of style.
When you look at it, you think car, you don't think bubble.
That's a car. That's a car. I know that's a car. That's why I cast. I can tell what a car is.
Yes, this is a very important skill for anyone who wants to take our position.
Well, here we go. Tsunamis are just going to try to take it in their first push, and that's a great start, eliminating C-Squared. They're already on the point where Cyclones are caught up in the train and have to get on the point to try to contest it. They're getting close to their first tick right now. That's a good start by Barbecue, eliminating their Ana. Can Echo survive? Nope, and it looks like that first take is just barely going to be stopped by the Cyclones.
So I've noticed quite a bit that we see Shy Penguin and C-Squared going down first, and that is in part due to Tsunami's target focus that they've been working on, as the Overwatch coaches from Esports Tower so kindly told us. However, Shy Penguin and C-Squared, you guys need to be operating as though you know you guys are going to be the first dive target. And because staying alive is one of the biggest assets you can give, and you're also taking attention away, and attention is another resource you are taking from the enemy team. Focus on that as we go to these next couple fights. I really hope someone is listening. Go halfway.
This Echo's still doing a lot of damage in the air. This Junkrat is going to have a hard time countering, and I perish the thought of him actually trying to aim for the Echo.
It's doable.
It is doable, and there's no better feeling as a Junkrat than when you know that your college trigonometry class is paid off.
I have seen some Junkrats, I'm not even kidding, on Temple of Anubis. I'll say, hey, they have a Pharah, we don't have how can we have a junk? And I've had a junk go, watch this, does a double jump with both of his landmines, gets in the air and takes out the far end. I'm like, what did I just witness? So it's doable.
It's Junk's equivalent of the 360 no-scope.
Yeah, yeah, and it's horrifying, the fact that Junkrat have figured out this tech. So I wouldn't put it past Barbecue to have figured it out or figured it out during this game.
Just in terms of lore consistency, also, I also like that the Cyclones have got the whole Junk Hawk duo here. We'll see how they can do with that defensively as Tsunamis move on to the point again. Echo starts it off with the pick on the Barbecue, so that is not going to be available for a little while. The beat goes down, and there's a copy brought out onto the Hog. Primal Rage also used, and there's going to be so much pushing Cyclones off the point once this whole Hog goes online. There it goes. They're not going to be able to get off the point for right now. There goes the Riptire. Here it comes, a little delayed. How will it do?
Oh, it might get Mercy, and it does.
But I don't think just taking out the Mercy is going to be quite enough here. Tsunami's claiming the point with more time than the Cyclones had when they got it.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind that Mercy is not the primary source of healing. Even with the minor changes that have been made to her, it's still always going to be the Ana, the Mercy-Ana combo. If you're out healing your Ana, something's a little wrong.
Alrighty, here we go. Don't even have to make it to the checkpoint. All they have to do.
I'm concerned as to where the Cyclones chose to set up for this fight. See you later.
And the reason being?
Remember when I said everyone sets up over by the construction equipment and just puts themselves out in a bad spot? That's exactly kind of what they just did. They did not call the dead fight soon enough, so they were all caught out on the low ground before the fight even started, and that is easy pickings for the enemy team.
Yeah, despite getting a few eliminations here and there, Cyclones have a hard time keeping this payload from moving. Lessons is going to try to heal some teammates, stop some progress, but it's still moving. There goes a nano boost out from the Tsunamis. Watch out for that. Winston, just run away.
And that goes back to playing into the anticipate. You two are the first to die to target C-squared, Shaipangi. C-squared, you should have known that the next target was going to be Shaipangi and thrown out that orb well before you tried to do any damage after you used your base.
He's going to get... The Hawk is just going to get mowed down right there. This Lucio trying to stall out, not going to do it for long. There you go. That's going to do it. We're just going to say, who cares about the call to go into Grand Central? We'll just park outside and call it a day. There we go. There we go. Now, we don't get to see push, unfortunately. Tsunamis do get to see a win, it looks like. And here's the play of the game.
Three-piece Nano Blade. It's the three-piece Nano Blade.
I mean, something's never changed, and a Nano Blade is still good.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting still. And I mean, also technically canceled the Reaper ult too, so even more.
There you go. Tsunamis are going to be declared the winner for that one, winning it just in 2 fights. So good job for them. And you know, Nerdy, going it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We just saw that with the Nano Blade. I mean, you got to be working with your Ana to be setting that up, and you can see how talented these teams are at working together. Esports Tower really takes the time to create teams of well-matched teammates. Shout out to all the coaches. For those of you watching who haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs, you should. It's the fast track to rank up. Well, the Tsunami strike first in Group A and take down the Cyclones. Next up, the Wolves are going to take on the Cyclones as another Group A matchup, so we'll see if the Cyclones can, in fact, get a win here.
I'm very curious to see how the Wolves perform. They're kind of our wild cards this week, at least in my humble opinion. We'll have to wait and see.
See how much of a wild card they are. We're going to take a short break and be back with the next match of tonight, so you do not want to go away.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by. Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by. Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Overwatch, broadcasting from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's week 6 of our spring Overwatch 2 Rumble. It's time for a second Group A match of the night between the Wolves and the Cyclones. We'll see who gets the win there. I'm your host, Jacob Gem Mountain Palmer, joined by Artie Nerdy Bird Rain. And before we get to the action, Artie, we actually want to take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower Club members who have graduated from their clubs and been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, Esports Tower Club members have received over $1.6 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard in their in-game play, but worked hard academically and have earned these scholarship opportunities. We could not be more excited and proud to see all the opportunities they're getting.
I cannot stress the importance of the academic aspects, guys.
Yeah.
It's very, very important. Even when you get to college, it's not, oh, I can play esports and not worry about my grades.
Right.
They're important.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I gotta say, I was talking to Doc last week when we were doing Overwatch 2, and he was talking about just kind of the careers of these players and just kind of what an advantage also it is not only to play the Overwatch 2 beta this early, but to get the coaching of it as well and just start to get that experience to build them forward. Granted, there are probably going to be a lot of patches going forward.
I'm going to speak semi from a can you help a homie out perspective here, but Esports Tower, if y'all could toss me one of them beta keys that you're going to be keeping here for a bit so I can play and actually understand what in the Nuggets is happening on the screen, I'd appreciate it, because I'm the analyst here, and I need to actually play the game to fully understand what the heck is going on. I'm actually being honest, but pseudo trying to, hey, can you give me the homie hookup?
Okay. There's a lot of requests from you today, from push to beta code.
I want push, and then can I get the
just
extended beta?
Fill out a list that we can read at the end.
Punch card.
Yeah, a punch card there. Well, Doc has a list of his own for these players. It's Doc's Keys to the Game, brought to us by Esports Tower. It's never to take a fair fight. That means to take fights in unexpected places when your opponents are unprepared and keep your tank alive. Brought to you by Esports Tower. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. As we ran into the Wolves versus the Cyclones right now. And right now we're going to be starting off on Lijiang Tower, a very familiar sight in terms of a starting stage.
So, I'll be completely honest, playing Symmetra on some of these maps, especially if you know how to do it and you're willing to break your TP, because I know that this is like a hesitancy a lot of players have, is they don't want to break that initial out-of-spawn TP or that initial point TP. If you're willing to break it and use it to your advantage to just go and decide to int on one person, you can become the most horrifying walking microwave in the entire history of Overwatch. So if we see a sim on one of these maps, if we make it especially to Gardens, I wouldn't be surprised if they are devastating for the other team.
You know, it's interesting, the player with the gamer tag Toxic Kill is on the Mercy. I don't know if we're going to see a battle Mercy here, but it's almost like they're setting it up.
All right, we have King Swifter rolling out on that Doomfist, but we have Moist on the Cyclones yet again rolling out on Ryan. But Ryan and, you know, Lijiang Tower, especially Control Center, is one that works. We've got Barbecue on that Symmetra as well. We'll see if they stick on it or if they swap off after initially getting their team out of spawn. But Doomfist is a broken tank. If you play Overwatch 2, you know what I'm saying. He is busted up the wazoo. So King Swifter is going to have a fun day, especially if there is no swaps made to try and counter him.
Right now, maybe not so fun. He's taking a lot of damage and he's almost limited. So.
But there's an advantage to doing that. The heal absorbability for Doomfist as King Swifter goes down. We're going to act like none of us saw that. Just put your hand over the screen. Bad just
believe
killed
us,
two people.
Doomfist is broken.
But it wasn't King Swifter. It was Mercy and someone else. But the absorbability then puts your punch, it ups the damage for it. And one of the most horrifying things is when they use that absorb and you're screaming at your teammates to have them help you kill the Doomfist, and then they don't. And you were already really low health when you were engaging with this Doom. And because no one helped you try and kill him, he's now gonna full punch you and you're just gonna go into the wall. It's broken.
A lot of trades back and forth, but Barbecue picking up a double, peppering damage up from this high vantage point. Is anyone going to get up there to challenge him? Right now, Cyclones retake the point.
And we do see them pushing all the way up to door. This is a strategy that rings true out from Overwatch 1. Moist will get slept, but there is nothing to capitalize on immediately, even if they had been punched by the Doomfist there. The odds of them surviving were quite high. T-Squared almost has their ult. We've got Bad with that ultimate online as well. I'm hoping that Bad waits until they come through and they pick direction, either going left or going into White Room, and then throws some dragons on them as they are all in a combo line or clumped up like little penguins huddling for warmth.
Bad trying to get this on the right here. You also see Tactical Visor brought out here. Really a chauffeur that just kind of duck back in the hallway trying to wait it out. They're going to also throw out the Dragon Strike here in response, and Boys picks up a double, stopping the Wolves again from retaking the point.
And Mercy has decided to go for a res on the backline on the Soldier. I'm not sure if that was a cooldown worth expending here, especially if it cost your own life plus an ability when it was already a lost fight. Soldier, I feel like you might just be staggering yourself here, but you do survive, so nice job. The big three, you had a dream and you survived. Barbecue might take that one away immediately.
Riptire now looking for the Riots, just kind of keeping them in their own spawn right now. He goes for the flank route. He's not going to be able. Muffler just has to take it out, but they got to get to the point right now. They only have 5 percentage points left.
And unfortunately for the side of the Wolves, Team Swifter has lost the Reinhardt and left his entire backside open for a Shatter easy pick in to win the fight, then take the point. You're at 99%. It's not that big of a deal.
Now we have the Rhine-on-Rhine fight right now for the point, but that is going to help eliminate King Swiffer there. Now it's just one more point that needs to be taken, and the Cyclones will have this point.
And the Big Dream has a Big Dream. He's hanging on to it. Almost has the Hack Visor online finds 10 more percent to go. That Moira is easy picking, but the Big Dream looks like C-Squared said it's time to wake up, sweetheart, and send them back to the spawn.
And there goes Ana as well, trying to hop around and stay alive from Barbecue's relentless bombs here.
If anybody wants to barbecue?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, look at Keen Swiffer. He has the Shatter, but just didn't have time to use it. And there goes Tactical Visor as well. Big Dream has the dream, but it's turning into a nightmare right now.
And of course, there we go. The Moira glitch. There is a
There is definitely one happening that's going to help the Cyclones stay alive and get the objective.
You cannot escape
It's going to be the first one taken by the Cyclones.
All right, we've got a quick couple of seconds. What map do you think is going to be next? You've got two to choose from.
I'm going to answer that question with a question, because one of the possible stages we might see is what is known as Night Market. In fact, it is going to be Night Market, but the question I have to ask you is, Doc wasn't able to give me an answer last week, is it still technically called Night Market? Because is this Sunrise Market now?
It should not be Night Market, but I'm pretty sure when the doors, I'm pretty sure it is still called Night Market, but I'm 100% with you. It should not be. I think the name is going to be adjusted to just be Market.
Okay.
When the
that
official release comes out.
That is low-key hilarious, I gotta say.
But yeah, it's time, if there is a plan to add, like, you know, an Overwatch 2.5 where we then swap all the daytime and nighttime maps again and let everyone be exposed to all of the orange of the world, let's take out the daytime and nighttime references to every map in the game.
Right now, Big Dream doesn't care what time of day it is. He just wants to get to the point. Is going to eliminate C-Square to start it out, but Bad is fighting back, putting it overall to a 4v4 control point, unlocking in just 3 seconds. Monclover putting the Wolves into a slight advantage again. Right now, Bad still fighting on point.
And apologies, Big Dream, especially if you have this rerunning. Just know that if there's a pun that can be made, we're going to make it.
We've already gone too far down this road to stop.
This rabbit hole goes deep, and we're not even halfway down yet.
Goes Avian, kind of finishing things off. Onto the point, and now Wolves are going to be the first one to take it.
And we do have Copy almost online. Shattered coming up, Amplification Matrix as well.
That skin, that is the most horrifying.
Yeah, the ragdoll, it's nightmare fuel, especially for me, because like Raggedy Anns are Uncanny Valley up the wazoo for me. So that one is just very uncomfortable. It's like Stitch, but it's like, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's a long, what a long charge there. He gets knocked up into the air.
To the wall. Oh, King Swiffer, you are going in hard, and this fight I think is pretty much done.
It's done, and still more good news for the Wolves. They're going to go past at least probably 45%.
All right, so the question is now, is King Swiffer tracking Moist's ult? Because one of the best things you can be doing, especially on main tank, is keeping track of the other main tank's ultimate and anticipating when they're going to use it, because last time, one of you kind of just, you know, shifted past the other Reinhardt, and the other Reinhardt was like, okay, I'm going to shatter your entire team now. So let's see if that happens again, or if they actually start anticipating each other's ults, because that is top level game, Reinhardt players getting each other's heads and being ready for it.
There goes the copy from Barbecue onto Junkrat, but it's going to get quickly negated by the true Junkrat right now is fighting. Right now, Moist just getting really more Telefield, trying to make their way on. They need to find a way right now to do it. Moving very close to the point, helping with that a huge shot out of the back. But the follow-up's going to be stopped by the counter. Jarred. It's still enough for the Wolves to keep the Cyclones from getting to the point.
Genji, you just popped ult at point blank range. Oh wait, no, it looks like you popped it. I think that might have just been deflect though, and Moira was holding on to it. It's okay.
That's going to be it. Wolves saying we are not going to be counted out of this match by any long time. We're going to play this 100-0. Wow.
Barbecue looks to get it all the time. They got to be careful here unless someone else touches for their team. Someone else is. That is absolutely massive. Just ignoring the fight and going to point. Barbecue, you are the MVP of this match for sure. You did a great job.
Will it be enough? He's getting focused down very hard right now by the Genji.
He's not the only one on point though. Moira made it. C-squared is there, and that is huge. You can just install this with 2 people, but C-squared, you need to play around Rosie a little bit more. Trying to go back to the playground.
At this point, it's just a
Adaptive circuits engaged.
There goes a copy for Lucio. So there you go.
Reverting
Wolves are going to
personality.
drive this
Echo online.
to Gardens.
At least there's no daytime or night question.
Score.
No, there isn't. So
1-1.
no question that is going to really challenge my mental faculties right now.
Right? The one that makes my ADHD go bonkers. It's like, it's daytime, but this is night market?
This is night market. Well, you know, depending on your status in the world, it might be referred to night on the other side of the globe. Because it's always
there you
nighttime
go.
somewhere.
There you go. We'll count that
So
one.
it's nighttime somewhere market.
And it does look like Moist is going to go with the Sigma. King is going to
So this
selfies.
garden looks really pretty in daytime, I gotta say.
This map and a couple others look great, but then there are some that's just like, this is way too orange. Please pick a different palette.
That's coming from someone whose university colors are blue and orange.
Yes.
So if you're saying there's too much orange here, maybe you need to dial it back just a little bit. Let me start this. Echo's going to put a lot of damage down onto Moist. Stop the Cyclones from getting to the point yet again, just like they did on Market. They're going to get laid to the point first.
We've got Barbecue just trying to poke some damage here going into that Echo. It's going to be really come down to who can utilize natural cover better between Cassidy, Barbecue, Cassidy staying alive here, being able to cover damage onto the big dream, and whose Mercy is focusing their damage and healing rotations at the right times, because damage boosting and healing at the right times is very important, because if you're doing it for no reason, then you need to rethink what you're doing.
That's going to run in right here, and it's going to catch Avon off. Going to catch him unexpectedly, quickly heals back up, and now it's going to get the full Team Fury in his face.
See, this is what I was talking about, is taking those off-angle flanks. Not quite something you typically do on DJ, in all honesty. You're pretty cut off from your team when you're choosing to. Bad did it, and Bad learned the hard way. You don't want to do it on the
Well,
map.
I just guess, you know, simple mathematically going from 6v6 to 5v5, you're just not as likely to run into somebody when you're trying to flank.
That is 100% true, but you got to keep in mind that if you're going to flank and you're alone, or you grab someone else with you, you are by default taking 20% of your team's fighting force away.
That is true.
And you got to do it at the right time so that you are kind of pinching into the enemy team. At the same time, so you're only cornering some of the attention resource from the enemy, not all of the attention resource, because you decide to peek a corner when your team is not looking at them, they're not looking at your team, so they all see you and they turn and kill you.
Now Wolves look like they might just be the ones to actually win this. Cyclones had such a good start, but Wolves already going past that crucial 80% marker.
Yes, we're in one fight territory. Moist is close to the Gravitic Flux, and with having the Mercy ult and Avian both go down, this Sigma ult could be the flipping point. They may not even need it though, with Moist, Bad, and C-Squared all picking up a couple for themselves. Still 2 ultimates online, and Fish, I know that you're going to be either listening to us right now or watching the VOD later. I will say this, having Gravitic Flux and Deadeye combo together does actually make Deadeye very useful.
Oh, there goes the Gravitic Lux. I do not hear the Deadeye being used with it, though. But it still is enough to just take out Clover. It's going to have to expend the res, actually, from Toxic there.
It looks like Barkeep's going for a flank Deadeye. Taking this much time to rotate around might have been the undoing for their team, actually.
Just turn around.
Like I said, taking somehow you took 40% of your team's force away to do this flank for so long.
Victory.
Wasn't a good idea.
I don't know, maybe realized the beta was ending and wanted to just try to get a 5-person Deadeye
It's not
just for
gonna
posterity.
Play
Not
of the game.
Not really gonna happen.
The
Some
words
things
of-
never change, including Junkrat just being Junkrat here.
Deadeye is just not the most powerful ult in the game, my friends. Even after they gave him the ability to walk.
I
during
do
the
like
night.
all the hero and aesthetics upgrade, and Junkrat is just still same old.
Scrappy.
Just, yep, same old Scrappy. Well, that's a good start for the Wolves here. You said they were going to be the wild card, and they definitely do seem to be putting up quite a fight.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they continue to do. I mean, we've got plenty of more Overwatch to continue to go through tonight, and of course, there's going to be more next week when we go into our Cup games. So, it's exciting.
Well, the next bit of Overwatch that you're about to see is going to be a part of Overwatch that's very familiar because it is going to be King's Row. Second stage, what we all know, and, well, what we all know.
It's okay. Scrims Row means that there is comps that work already, and yeah, you are missing a tank, but you can still make those comps work, especially Wall and Maul. Wall and Maul still works grotesquely well, so long as they don't decide to switch to, like, Angry Birds.
Well, we'll just have to see what is brought out for King's Row. We're going to bring to you the second fight, Wolves versus Cyclones, and Wolves at match point right now in this best of 3. So who will win? We will just have to find out. Speaking a little bit about the Wolves, we've been talking about Monclover here on this Genji. He's been on a flex role for the Wolves.
Ready
He's
for
really impressed the
battle.
coaches with how impressive he's been on all different roles.
That is a very well-rounded player, to say the least, and I mentioned it earlier, being able to pick up multiple roles and play them comfortably.
Attackers
It does a lot
incoming
for your
in
game
30
sense, and it
seconds.
does a lot for you anticipating how another team who plays one of the heroes that you're familiar with is going to play that hero, or possibly a comp, more because you understand each role. The depth at which you understand the roles plays into your counterplay quite a bit. So, way to be above and beyond Monclover and be one of the few players that is willing to actually play multiple roles. I personally only played 2, because unless you're going to give me Hanzo,
3,
good luck on me
2,
doing anything on DPS.
Well, talking about star
Attackers
DPSs on the Cyclone side,
Defend
Barbecue has actually recently moved over to the DPS role and has been learning a bunch of new heroes and has been a strong addition for the Cyclones. Really impressed the coaches with his quick learning. Let's see how that works out here. We head on to King's Row, still sticking on the Junkrat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for someone who supposedly is learning a bunch of new DPS, that
It's been very comfortable with the Junkrat, which, hey, I'm not gonna, it's kind of emulating me in my gameplay, but
Yeah, no judgment. If you got a hero that works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I get it.
and again, Nate thrown onto him and quickly taken out by Monclover. C-Squared, though, evening it up, eliminating King Swiffer. Right now, it's not really a successful hold for the Wolves. Cyclones look like they're going to get at least 1 tick first fight.
It is perfectly okay still here to give up 2 ticks and then re-engage. We did see that C-Squared drop the immortality to make sure that he stayed alive. Hopefully we keep the holy chest alive long enough here. But there's no one touching point. There's another touch on point. We've got the amp going out, but the anti's too large. What you gotta keep in mind is you can't get anti in this game. It's way too deadly. Shy Pengy, you got a great pick, but it might be time to hit.
That's going to be his undoing there. Rez also bringing the Cyclones up to full health so they can just fight again immediately.
I'm looking at that payload marker right now. Do you see something?
Yeah, I see a distinct lack of movement, even less than the very slow fire truck, which is saying something.
Yeah, I see 4 people here. I'm wondering where our 5th is, because that should be the one over by the payload, but that 5th ain't even by the payload, so what is going on, Cyclones? There we go. Finally, I think Anna got a picture and was like, oh boy. Walk back.
You actually do need someone on point.
It's a little bit strange having to, a little bit strange pushing this far forward right now in Overwatch 2.
Roadhog.
having a support on the payload, it's a little weird no matter what. Either you sacrifice a DPS or you sacrifice support. You can't put your tank on the payload. That's just never going to work out in your favor anymore. But it does look like they have realized their mistake, because being more than 2 corners in front of the payload, if you have a support there, is my rule of thumb of going too far.
As they're moving further, they're just going to get the full speed that they can out of that payload with 3 people on it. That's the only one defending right now.
That does have that ult online though, and if you can get them to the right angle, you should have backed up. It can work out heavily, but we have the Holy Chuck swapping over to the Roadhog here to take care of the big dream, turning them into pulled pork.
Now we get into the 3rd and final stage. This is the genius of making Kings Row a daytime map, because if you miss the nighttime, at least this 1/3 of the map looks exactly the same.
That's true. Maybe it was to give their after decided a little bit of a break.
Just a little bit of a, what do you want us to do?
Open the roof over,
This part of the stage already had a lot of orange.
That's true. I mean,
oh my goodness, here goes Genji.
The inward. Bear. Oh no! Squared, I'm so sorry. Okay, the Holy Chuck made up for it, and you can see how far back the payload is right now. Something that's really important for these teams, for players to remember. This goes out to anyone who's playing Overwatch. Is time is a resource, and I understand that it feels like there is so much against you right now, but you don't have to trickle out that far back, and that's exactly what we saw here from the Wolves. They waited, they regrouped, they did lose C-squared in an unfortunate circumstance, but they got the manpower back up and slowly pushed back forward to reclaim space instead of rushing out everything.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of great holds in this final part here on Kings Row, so it's
Adaptive
definitely
circuits
possible.
engaged.
Looks like a talent. It's gonna go right to the middle of the cycle. You just gotta do that. You just gotta answer the disrespect.
I'll be completely honest, it is one of the most horrifying things in the world to see 3 Reinhardts on the field. I'm waiting for the day where
when you're outside of arcade.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day where I see a Echo v Echo, like both decide to copy the Ryans, and we see 4 Ryans on the field, and maybe actually realize maybe the copy is a little busted.
Well, for now, right now, Big Dream is just going to be happy with Kyle Echo getting a triple. Instead of stopping the Wolves, this might be final part. The Wolves are going to have to be forced to trickle in here.
Yes, I see the swap. I see you going over to that Torbjorn. I absolutely adore it. We've got the Lucio from C-squared. Unfortunately, not utilizing enough to make it a difficult target. Big Dream's going to find a couple. King Swiffer will. Holy Cup and
Wow, that's a
picking
good
up
strike.
1, 2. But yeah, that's beautiful. We've got another shatter coming online from the Holy Chuck. He's gonna get it better. He's gonna give me Swiffer, and Swiffer is very. Whoa, what are you doing, Holy Chuck? What are you doing, my friend? You can't just let that right
Adaptive circuits engaged.
There goes another copy. The Torbjorn gets hit by the sleep dart.
He's gonna go have a dream.
Although he was still on the point, so the payload still moved forward.
Yeah.
Score.
Please don't ever just
0
leave a Reinhardt
to 3.
behind you. I
Switching
understand you're
sides.
trying to cut off the enemy heals, but that
Yeah,
also let
we've
the
seen a
other
lot of
Ryan
great holds
get
in
like
this final
25% extra
Initiating
charge on their
match.
shatter. This is horrifying. There's 3 Reinhardts on the field in this moment, and it's like, who shattered? I just see barbecue was like, doesn't matter. 2 of them are gonna go away anyway.
If there are 3 large hammers swinging all at the same time, one of them's bound to hit something.
True.
Well, at this point now, you were talking though about, you know, it being a time game, and overall for the Wolves, they didn't do that bad a job.
No, there was over 5 minutes on that clock
Ready
with
for
0.3
battle.
activated.
Yeah, so getting them down to 221, it makes this a much better, like you said, winnable.
And so, at least when I've discussed this with Meridian Technical, you guys have seen them here in the Esports Tower games themselves.
Attackers
Um,
incoming in
Like, I
30
understand that it's like, oh my god, they've hit 0.3, there's 5 minutes on the clock. And I'm like, the way I tell my players to handle that is, don't look at the clock right away, but look at the payload distance. That is the time that you have. Look at how many people are on the payload. If there's no one, you got a lot of time. If there's one, you have quite a bit of time. If all 3 of them are on there, well, guess what? You have a bunch of space to claim, and you're going to get that time back.
5, 4,
Here we go. Wolves are going to have
1. Attackers
They're
incoming.
going to try their attack right now.
Defend
Going to have a
objective
pretty
A.
good attack here. We'll see how it works out, if they can take the point just in one. And we actually do see the Sojourn being brought online for the first time tonight.
Ooh, I absolutely love Sojourn. They did increase the projectile size for her ultimate on that railgun to make it easier to land some of those shots, and it can be absolutely deadly. It scares me because as someone who can't aim, it meant that I had an easier time landing shots with Sojourn, and so that means anyone who actually can aim is now one of the most horrifying players in the game.
Oh, look at that. Speed of horrifying barbecue just gets mowed down right now instantly in terms of damage. Cyclone still maintaining control of the point.
We do see that Ana is kind of in a default Ana spot on that high ground. Has the ability to rotate to get out of fire and get a lot of support onto their team. They land a fantastic nade, but it's not followed up on to take out the early touch just yet. Cooper is going to go really low out of the shatter. Who's going to pop it first? It's not going to be King Swiffer, that's for sure.
Here the nano boost being brought out by Havy, and then, oh my goodness, that Sojourn is horrifying nano boost.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to use their ultimate, and the railgun being also a secondary ability that's just able to be, you know, used and charged at will. Also, very, very scary.
That railgun is going to be online very soon here, and Bad has seen how good the Sojourn is working out and is going to try it out.
Adaptive circuits
There
engaged.
goes a copy. Jump grab. Yeah. Oh, just before the Reptire, he gets the copy taken down.
It's okay, I will be honest, just like a normal Junkrat, you don't exactly want to be in the middle of the team with all of their attention being on you. Pop the Reptire.
Oh my goodness, look at this coalescence flank and the damage Yorp to try to take him out. He's going to be successful with it.
Tripangi trying to be Shark Candy 2.0, I see, nicely done, taking out the Manclover. Let's see if you can keep your team alive though, because that's the real important part here.
Oh, they're almost one tick, just barely almost there, but Cyclones are fighting back right now. Big Dream picking up a double, getting rid of Barbecue and Bad. Both DPS is gone for the Wolves, and they have to retreat.
We do have Swiffer still with that Earthshatter online. Chubb has theirs as well. This is a battle of the Reinhardts. These two ultimates, whomever lands it better, whomever preps their team the most, is going to be the one that gets the most value and how we turn this fight. And if you can get 3 down in this shatter, that is the sweet good night, and the point is going to flip.
Goes the Riptire brought out by Barbecue, making his way toward the point.
Making its way downtown.
The spin to win Riptire.
60 seconds.
Both so. Here's the thing though, this railgun is still for both Sojourns. Is going to be online. Not for Bad though. Big Dream takes him out. And now the nano boost is on. The nano boost with the railgun already gets it.
It's disgusting though, okay?
Yeah, it's still disgusting.
Okay, Echo. I was more scared of it going on to Sojourn, not using their ult, just doing a bunch of damage, getting their railgun constantly. That was a fantastic shatter. And then using their ult afterwards. So we got a Moira copy coming out. Bad is going to use their ultimate, and the copy is forced. And there, see, I'm telling ya, yeah, there you go. Absolutely disgusting. But I was afraid that they were going to nano the Sojourn and then let Sojourn go with their ult afterwards, and it's just at that point it is just painful. Like that, there is no surviving that. That is when you're like, let's back off.
There's still a lot of time left for the Wolves, who are the ones in fact at match point here. Still ready for the defense here, Brandon. Throw out a few flame strikes around the corner. Goes out another one for good measure. Right now, Monclover also has this railgun ready. Oh, very low on health. Actually gets taken out by Bad.
The res does manage to go up, but Mercy will go down there after Barbecue finds Swiffer. And now the Cyclone C-squared is blood and thirsty. Going forward, just doing a whole lot of damage. Yes, you can run at Lucio hardcore, but just gotta be careful. You don't overdo it too much because you're not as hard of a carry as you were when the beta first started.
There goes long range mine there. I like to see it there. Another rip tire being brought up. He's going to go into a more secure location. Actually, sees the Echo fly right past him. Maybe if you can time it right. Yeah, there it goes. He's going to eliminate Avian. That's already a great start for the Wolves. And there goes Monclover trying to land hits with this railgun here.
Engaged. Reinhardt.
I'm just going to hit you with a hammer. I don't care what kind of gun you have.
That is
Maybe you can't bring a knife to a gunfight, but you can bring a hammer to a gunfight.
Yeah, that's more like an earthquake.
An earthquake to a gunfight. Look at this. And already a 15-player streak there for the Mora. Ever since the Wolves got the payload, they're unstoppable. And that's a whip on that Shattered 2 by King Swiffer.
The follow-up B just to maintain take aggression now that they know that the flipping Earthshatter is out of the pocket of the other team is huge. However, okay, so now the Wolves 100%, no matter what, are not going to have as much time on the clock as the Cycles. Right now, they need to be focusing on just trying to finish with even a second left on the clock so that we go into overtime and it is not just we have to have a 100% perfect goal for 3 fights because 2.5 minutes roughly can get you 3 fights on point.
They're going to do their second attack. Big Dream taking a lot of damage, trying to retreat himself back. Is going to heal back up. Another shatter brawl.
This ends now.
Jump, but it doesn't quite. It does help Shy. Barbecue actually pick up one. Rez is going to go back on the King Swiffer. Shy picks up Toxic Kill again. That's a 5-1 for the Wolves. They're going to get more distance out of this.
I'm going to be completely honest. Bat definitely could have killed that Mercy because they just, I'm pretty sure.
And thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, production, for remembering that graphic exists. We don't use it enough. Thank you so much. Yes, that was a team kill.
Bad, I feel like something broke for a moment there, but it's okay. Your team
There goes the copy is
Adaptive
available
circuits
here. We're
engaged.
gonna bring on the soldier. Uh-oh. This could get ugly. Oh, it's gonna stop it.
I mean, okay, they got the copy, but they did not actually get the echo. And this is something that needs to be cleaned up consecutively for Esports Tower. Stop letting Mercy get away with these reses. It is gross. Okay, a big dream. Yes, you got the 3-piece there, but really, that was King Swiffer.
Shy Pangy actually decided to reset there.
Smart move, Shy Pangy.
Do they have enough time?
With Wrecking Ball
Yeah, I think they can get there.
but Wrecking Ball can't be slowed down anymore. Yes, they've made it. They're anti, they're low, but they can spin the win for a moment. Lucio, you need to be wall riding like you are Red Shell right now, and getting to that payload. You should not have been taking that time to back off at that corner. Back to get another touch. We might see a follow-up here from Barbecue. Holy Chub can't make it in time, but that was a pretty gosh darn close fight.
Alrighty, that means the Wolves are going to win that one, tie it up 1-1, which means we do have a real chance here at actually seeing push. We could.
Of the game.
Well, there goes Bart, who's going to get the play of the game as Junkrat here.
I'm going to be completely honest, I really thought that final shatter was going to do it. But Barbecue, good job.
That is a great play there. Both teams now tied up 1 apiece. And now this is interesting. Now I do not have confirmation of what the next stage is going to be, so now we get to completely speculate and hope that it is push.
Push. I'm like trying to tell production that like, tell me it's push right now, and like don't break my heart.
Yeah, if I have to see Escort, I'm gonna. We're just gonna have to see right now.
Well, I mean, okay, so we did King of the Hill, and then we did Hybrid. Technically, if it was a full 5-game series, it would be Escort next.
True, but it is best of 3.
So push.
Oh, we're actually
you're
gonna have to
take a
go to
break.
break, I hear, to find out. So we'll be right back. We'll find if Nerdy's wish comes true for the day, and we're gonna see push. You're just gonna have to find out after this.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by. Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
We're going to build bridges and hospitals in a day. We're going to save families from disaster and feed those left in the cold. We invite you to join us. The next greatest generation is now.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of Esports Tower Rumble in Valorant. While we were gone, the final match took place between the Wolves and the Cyclones. It looks like the Wolves are the ones that are going to win that one, so that will be that match all wrapped up. The only one we have left is just one match in Group B, and it's the Riptides taking on the defending Rumble champions, the Everest. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer. Joining me to call all of the action is Artie Nerdy Rain, and now this is going to be a great match to close out the night because we got the
most
top
definitely.
teams going.
Yes, I'm very excited to see how this goes. I'm excited to watch Diamond Dog coming in on the main tank here. I might be a Diamond Dog fan, just a little bit. I'm not going to be biased, I promise. But I will be constantly rooting for whichever team loses in the first match to win the second match because I just want to see push.
I don't know. We might.
Can we just make that second map from here on out, guys, at Esports Tower? Please.
Well, we'll have to see.
If
that's
not, when we do the Spice
Nerdy's
stage.
wish list. Let's take a look at Doc's wish list of sorts. It's his keys to the game that we're going to get to before this match. And they're presented by esportstower.com. And Overwatch, the keys to the game are never to take a fair fight. That means to take fights in unexpected places when your opponent's unprepared and keep that one tank you have alive. Brought to you by Esports Tower. Once again, score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professionals professional coaches to help you rank up. Like I said, this is the Everest versus the Riptides, two of the top teams going on. And you were talking about Diamond Dog, who is a player for the Everest, a very capable tank in her own right.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely a hardcore Winston and Reinhardt player to reckon with. I have not been able to see her too much on the Doomfist. I would love to see her pull that out tonight if possible. However, I will also admit when it comes to the tank lineup currently, even though I am historically a diva main, I absolutely adore Orisa. So if we see Orisa via Orisa and I don't get pushed tonight, I'll be satisfied with that because we have yet to see Orisa get pulled out at all this evening.
Well, now it's time for our final match of the night in Group B with the Everest taking on the defending Rumble champions of the Riptides. And the Everest have a roster that lives up to their name. I mean, they have a roster that's 10 players, which means they can have in-house scrims on Overwatch, too.
They can do anything almost. When you have a roster that deep, it's like, why not make two teams? And it's like, but we all like each other.
I do like, So we were talking about Diamond Dog. We see her there on the Winston. I also just got to point out Chum is Fum, the best gamer tank ever. Any SpongeBob reference I love, so thank you so much.
And we can't say that Chum is Fum is swapping over from playing that off-tank role to going to the support role. And that is something that's very common, is going from that going from the off-tank to a support role. The way that those two roles tend to work out means that the play styles and what you need to be tracking and your positioning can play into one another, and it helps you stay alive a little bit more, being familiar of where tanks want to be diving if they're playing a dive tank and you are now on a support. So Chum is Fun, good luck. Let's hope you don't get your lights turned off quite too quickly because they are running the Winston Genji dive.
Well, talking about the supports for the Everest, they've really impressed the coaches. The increased difficulty of support in Overwatch 2, the coaches are happy with how much skill the players have been showing. Riptides now need to take back this point. Everett's have already gotten a little bit of a lead, past 20%.
And we've got Diamond Dog looking to try and find an engage here. One thing that's still important that rings true here on Overwatch, especially for this point, is you need to be scouting, being on high ground and figuring out where the fight is looking to start, where the Riptides are looking to engage from. They picked up 2, and that is because the response was coming from the Everest instead of them forcing the Riptides to be the responders. And with that, the point is going to flip. You need to be looking through that window. You need to be going to high ground, being a little bit cheeky after you win the fight. Push forward. Figure out where the other team is going to be looking to set up to take the fight. Don't let them get set up and having to respond to that, which is exactly what we saw happen with Diamond Dog engaging a bit too late there.
So here go the Everest, still trying to maintain position on this point. Diamond Dog's pushing. She's pushing so much damage there onto the Riptides with the help of that Lucio already getting rid of Mangro and Fulcrum. Now Toasty falling. Jair is trying to make something happen, but Diamond Dog is going to say nope to that one and drive them back to spawn yet again. It's going to take out the Reaper too for a bit of a stagger.
Joe, it would have been better
Say
just
it
to
ain't
stay.
so, Joe.
Oh gosh, it would have been better just to stay on and just tank that right click coming from the Winston there rather than trying to get away. However, at this early of a stage, that stagger is not that big of a deal. Later on, it does become a big deal. Let's see if the Everest can maintain this one, because so far we've seen one fight go one way and then the other fight immediately flip it. Ults pretty gosh darn equal if the Riptides take their time entering this fight.
Look at this flank here. No doubt going to be used with this visor as well. There it goes. They're not going to know where he's coming from. It's just a damage cascade.
And so I'm going to be completely honest. Judge, by being out there on that flank, it's a bold move. A, works out in your favor. B, because you waited to engage until all the attention was on your team so they couldn't really flip and look at you. That is what I'm talking about, is gaining that information prior to the fight starting. So yeah, they let them engage this time because they already were, in essence, being proactive because they were anticipating where this engage was going to happen, and their response was already planned. So really, they weren't the ones responding. They were trapping them.
Now just one more fight and one last hope here for the Riptides. Going to be using everything that they have there. They have all 5 ultimates. They're going to use 3 of them, and that Genji Blade is going to eliminate Chum. Fulcrum also taking out Judge. That's just basically everyone from the Everest taking out, but that's fine. They can give up the point. They're in one-fight territory.
And looking at the ultimates, it looks like we've got Toasty with that beat. Joe has that Reaper ultimate online. Panda Squad, love the name, is going to have their ult online. Chumisfum has the nano for that Genji for Panda as well. The counter to that is going to be Toasty Rapids with that beat. So if that beat is done in the right spot, they use those Coyote frames to make sure they can spread it across to everybody. Sustain can happen. We'll have to wait and see as to when that ult is popped versus when the response ult from the Lucio is popped.
Well, this is a great hold here by the Riptides, already getting to 70. And Everest! Oh, Panda! The Genji blade!
That, I think, came down to the dashing out of your Ana's LOS. You really got to turn around and take a look at where your Ana is at if you're going to engage with the dash. And don't dash forward. Dash up first.
Oh, and here we go. One last fight here for the Riptides. This could be an it's all gonna, it's down to one fight. This is the one to decide it. And here we go. A lot of damage being traded back and forth. Panda, oh, Fulcrum is going to just push so much damage onto Panda, and the sound barrier from the Riptides helping to keep them alive, followed up by the Primal Rage. It's just a landslide against the Everest right now. Diamond Dog, she's going to try to make something happen, push them all off the point. How long can you survive, though? The answer is not quite.
I mean, Riptides had it in the bag, especially after Toasty Rapids, you know, didn't have to be prepared to use the beat defensively. They could just use it to sustain throughout that last fight. We do have Triplet coming in close to their beat, but unfortunately they will not make it in time to get a touch on that point.
And that's going to be round one taken for the Riptides. So now they just need to win one more here. We'll see a bit of a replay that we've got going on here. Oh, yeah, this was.
This is perfect. All of the abilities to move have been exhausted by the Riptides, so there was nothing they could do.
You might not have won this round, but you've won my heart with it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, pulling off a flank on any DPS, in my opinion, if you do it right and you do it well, you get the gold star in my book.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Round 2.
All right, here we go. Well, they're going to use a teleport to help them get to the point a bit sooner, the Everest.
Panda Squad is going to swap back over to that Genji. You've got near identical comps rolling out this time. Actually, yes, it is a perfect near. Now going to come down to who does it better. Both teams down 1 DPS. We see JR take down Judge, and then Panda take down JR. Triplet's going to go down to Joe. Panda's going to go down to Mango. Gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. I think he who has more supports ends up winning this one out, though.
Toasty just taking out Diamond Dog there. Riptide's now the first ones to take the point here. So this is a great start from them. They won the last one, but the Everest having built up a 99% charge on their own point. So I'd say it's looking good for the Riptides if they're able to keep the point this soon.
Lots of close 99-99s on control is not uncommon, especially when the teams are pretty even matched in Overwatch 2 more than Overwatch 1, because the lack of that second tank, for some reason, turns down the volume on steamroll ability quite a bit. So it's easier to go from to maintain and actually bring back a fight than it used to be. Somehow. I don't know how that math worked out, but the game designers managed to make that work.
There goes Fulcrum using the Primal Rage right now. Diamond Dog, she's just going to use her Primal Rage as well. Joe's going to be able to eliminate Judge, putting the Riptides in a small advantage, quickly making it a bigger advantage with the double. Now they're going to go past the halfway point, 50% charge.
Diamond Dog looking to get out, will make it out alive. They do not have their ult online. Their team, as far as ults go, we've got Mango ready with that Coalescence, Joe coming with that attack visor. I really want to see, oh sorry, the Riptides have those ults. As far as Team Everest, they have Lucio beat, Judge will have ult, Panda's gonna have ult, and Chumisfum is gonna be very close. I really want to see them try and take the high ground as opposed to trying to take this fight right on point. And using a lot of the abilities to get up to that high ground can be a bad thing, because the enemy team just has to drop, and then what do you do? So perhaps taking a longer rotation, going around the right side, using the lift to get up there would have been more advantageous if they don't win out this fight.
Well, the Riptides past 90%. They're just in one fight territory now. Are you going to have the advantage of the stay, and this Mor's going to do so much damage with that orb eliminating triplet. Diamond Dog next to be eliminated. Technical Visor also brought out by Joe. I don't know if anyone's even going to be able to make it to the point. Nope. And the Riptides winning in quick fashion get the first point.
All right, and we still have to do one more map of Oasis. No, never mind. That is King of the Hill, aka Control, taken care of. My only advice going forward for the side of the Everest is understand how much of your resources you are exhausting when you're going for dives like that. Because if you look at it as everyone in your team expels 1/3 of their kit, one of their 3 abilities to get up to that high ground, you are now down 33% of everything that your team can do. Instead, take the longer rotation, go up onto the lift so you don't have to use any of your abilities to get on the high ground, and then when the enemy team on defense now drops down, you can use your ability to engage on them from the high ground. Or you can just drop onto them and not have to use any of them, and you can just use those abilities to chase them around the point.
Well, let's get into the second match of this best of 3. It's going to go to hybrid again. We're going to find out if we see... Oh, okay, we're back to Midtown, which, yeah, I prefer this over King's Row, so...
Yeah, I like the new map over looking at
5,
Springs Row.
4,
We've got Panda doing the bull
2,
move, and I love that
1.
skin. I absolutely
Attackers
love that skin.
incoming. Defend objective.
Oh, it didn't quite work.
That's typically how it is. You whiff your first, like, 3 shots on Widowmaker.
We'll see if they can get it going later on.
Merci.
Right now, the Riptides in the lead at match point. They've been putting a lot of emphasis on finding how to find value in trading up ults, like using one of their ultimate and forcing the Everest to use 2. So we'll see how the ult economy works out as this match goes on.
Yes, that is also something referred to by other people as joining ultimates. It's like if you pay 10% of your ults, is the enemy team going to pay 20 or are they going to pay none and you lose the fight? It's interesting how that ult economy pays out. We'll have to see if it works in our favor this time. And Sean is back on the
But it's going to be out of the mech, though, and quickly taken down. So.
Yeah, D.Va's not the best tank in the game right now.
Not in the best place.
I mean, if you hear me rooting for an Orisa, which is not a tank I ever used to play as an off-tank player, you know that some tanks just aren't viable.
But
in a lot of spots.
it is interesting how, like, the removal of the off-tank, especially D.Va, makes some ultimates so much more viable now. You can't, the defense matrix is not going to be eating up as many.
Oh yes, that also means that like D.Va bombs are so much harder to pull off now too. Like the amount of time that Winston barriers stay alive if your team is not 100% focusing it, and that means your D.Va as well, it just does not die. So you have to perfectly time ultimates and have your team all focusing shields and barriers to poke it out and get the enemy team into a bad position to allow your ult to be of value. Otherwise, it's like a Deadeye 2.0.
Joe gets hit with the Discord board, but still manages to heal back up. He's going to have that Genji blade available. Infrared sights used by Panda Squad. There goes that D.Va bomb, that Chum is bum. They've just built that up, and Diamond Dog with the railgun already is able to take out Fulcrum. Ooh, is just trying to go for the snipes and is stopped by Diamond Dog. She swapped over to the DPS and shows
off.
Yep.
I need a healing.
So the interesting thing here, though, is that we've got double hit scan, long-range DPS, as well as supports, and D.Va is a dive-in, dive-out type of hero here. So the question is, if D.Va engages, Ana uses that anti. If the side of the Riptides realizes that this is how this comp works, they swap dive, they wait for that engagement of D.Va, and they counter dive, and the entire backline for Chum's team is going to go goodbye.
There goes Transcendence trying to stop the Riptide's push and trying to negate that Genji blade. There goes Coalescence and the Primal Fury. It's gonna leave some mileage for them, getting rid of Triplet and Diamond Dog. They're now 2 up in this fight. Toasty Rapids also using that beat for that extra survivability.
And that's basically exactly what I said right before the fight started, is what they needed to do, was wait for the D.Va engage and then just engage on everyone else, because there was nothing else that they could do to survive there. honestly. I mean, the Riptides did a great job, but unfortunately, didn't play up the fight fast enough.
Ooh, gotta get out of the way there. And still manages to get Joe.
Joe, I have questions for
I
you.
do have questions. That was such a long wind-up on that I expected everyone to just take cover. But I suppose we've seen weirder things.
We've seen more strange things.
Now we're actually into Grand Central right now.
You're falling apart.
Okay, so this is where a couple of things start to get a little bit difficult. There are a couple of hybrid maps that have been created where this last checkpoint is just so unbelievably difficult to get, just because the distance to the spawn plus the way the map works out becomes very disadvantageous to a team that sets up fights poorly on the offensive position here.
This ends
Oh! How accurate are you going to be? Oh, here there gets one onto Panda. And that's going to be it.
Actually, that was Joe deflecting that rail shot onto Panda. That is unfortunate. And that is when I'm pretty sure Panda was like,
who cares about teamwork there? It's everyone for himself.
Diamond, you can't be shooting a deflecting Genji with your rail gun.
The Riptides. Well, they're going to have to get past that Transcendence before they take the final point. Panda's using the extra help. They'll take out Fulcrum, and Joe as well is going to fall here. Mango still maintaining on point. I don't think they're going to take out Triplet, though.
And now if we look at the ultimate economy, almost equal if the Everest make this next fight take a while before it starts to happen, but everything is really heavily in favor of the Riptides. That payload is close, and we are at roughly 3.5 fight territory if they make it quick.
I believe this would be what you often say, he who ults first in case of the Riptides.
Oh,
because
yes.
if they can take the Everest out before their ults are online, they're sitting pretty.
Unless you're a Lucio player. The Lucio that ults second has a 30% higher chance of winning. That's not my statistics, it's from another coach on Twitter.
Oh, and they definitely use all of those ultimates. Look at that, everything!
My nuggets.
There's
my
only
nuggets.
one
That's
left.
a
Chum is
lot of
quickly getting taken out of their mech.
And now Toasty Rapids has to be online for anything that can be thrown at them, which is Panda Squad's Reaper ult. It don't matter though, their team is going to be locking this down. They popped a little bit too early, but I think their team is fine.
Ooh, but Diamond Dog, she might have something to say about that with that railgun and Chum is bummed. Joe answers that back with Triplet, but look at this rally back from the Everest.
Okay, now the question is, can they do that for another 2.5 fights?
It was still a bit of distance that was gotten for the Everest off of that last fight there.
A taste of poison.
And now we've got some Illusion coming up with their Railgun ultimate. And then other than that, that's going to be the only one. And so long as they don't, as long as Illusion doesn't somehow magically get their own BNG to deflect their shot, they'll be fine. They do find Diamond Dog, so there goes the other Sojourn. Panda goes down as well. So Smellusion getting a lot of value with Pop and Fulcrum and their Lucio Toasty Rapids. But Triplet will go down.
There goes Turbo. Joe picking up a double there. Really good start here. Chummy's Fum is going to get taken out of their mech and eliminated. Panda Squad's up next.
Joe just going for it. You don't care anymore. It's hit the gas. Find them. Oh, the face. The face juked you out, but you still found them. Nicely done.
That's going to do it. Riptides are able to claim the final point.
42 seconds on the clock. That is one fight territory. That can actually get you so much distance on a payload point. But not on a hybrid point, since we've already seen how many fights it takes to lock down the lockdown objective 1 on these maps. Going to be, if we go into overtime, Riptides have to play a perfect first engage in order to basically win that first point.
We're going to have to see how they are on defense now. We had a great little sound of some Grand Central ambiance.
I'm hoping that we might be able to pick up some of the actual storyline sounds. There is like actual information being given
for battle.
inside this terminal, but I'm pretty sure someone's gonna hit that button. We're gonna head over to the point 1
Bastion.
here.
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you. Bastion is gross, but I feel like he's easily countered.
Attackers incoming.
That's
in
fair,
30
that's fair.
seconds.
Well, here we go. Excuse me. Well, here go the Riptides, ready for their defense. Look back, they're still. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard an announcement there.
Yeah, that was
You were
actually one of the announcements.
You were talking so much about the lore drops. my ears were a little bit more open than normal. But here we go. Ready for the defense. Will
5,
Riptides be able
4,
to win it?
3, 2, 1.
Gonna find out right now. Here go the Everest with their offensive push.
They have to hold out for 4.5 fights if they're going to completely sustain point 1. I do foresee this going at least to the second checkpoint, though. I feel like with the skill level of the esports tower teams and how equally matched these two are, the odds of this point not getting unlocked for Team Everest is very, very slim.
Here they make their way toward the point. Now basically everyone on the point. A trade back and forth. So now it's 4v4.
Chum on the Doomy Doom. I like the pick. Let's see how you use that kit change, though.
Is surviving on the point so far.
They're not getting a lot of damage poked onto them, which is very interesting. I totally understand that might be the strategy for the other team is ignore the Doomfist, just dodge it. And like, if we don't do damage to him, he doesn't get a super punch, and we're golden. But that is where you gotta get a little concerned. Thankfully, everyone, and including Illusion and Toasty Rabbit, turned on to Chuma's Fun, because if that Doomfist had full charge punch right there, he was just gonna turn and look at one of those supports and throw them into a wall, and they would be back at the spawn in 2.5 seconds.
Well, they've already managed to burn off 1 minute from the Everest time here. Well, unlike that Moira just got away barely. Right, I mean, managed to heal up the Genji, I believe. There goes the railgun out. Smell, nothing quite yet to see from it. There goes the 2 coalescences in the train. Jum is just going to try to jump out of the train, go onto the back line here. Ooh, just fades away from that punch. They were fighting back on the point, but thankfully for the Riptides, they're going to have the Primal Rage and the Sound Barrier, but that Genji Blade is pushing so much damage thanks to Diamond Dog. She also lands a shot onto Fulcrum. Joe also eliminated. It looks like your prediction of this going to the second stage is going to come true.
Ooh, Toasty Rapids, yeah. Phases are a little harder to predict, but they're not the hardest thing to predict still in Overwatch.
There you go, first point taken for the Everest. Gonna very quickly move on to the next stage.
It's very important to see how the Riptides set up and to get ready for this first fight here. As I mentioned earlier when we saw this, before setting up a low ground, not the brightest idea, especially when you're going into a Doomfist. Take the high ground, please.
A taste of poison.
Jum is from waiting to jump in here, has the Meteor Strike available. There he goes. Now he's going to start trying to fully charge up that punch. Isn't able to land it, though. Now he's going to do the Meteor Strike to try to take out the supports, and they're running for cover, just waiting, and a well-timed fade for that Moira. Turbo's also able to eliminate Joe in the process.
Chuma's Fun trying to find a connection here on this Lucio. Does get it, but with a barely charged punch, not going to do a whole lot of damage. Kind of just wins him for a couple of seconds. Payload is contested, but it is not bolted just yet. Triple going to drop that beat. Let's see if that helps their team sustain.
Well, it's not going to sustain through the Genji Blade as Diamond Dog is already eliminated. Panda also taking a bit of damage down to about half. He's going to follow soon afterwards. Fulcrum's going to keep the pain rolling with this Primal Rage, push him all the way back to their spawn.
Oh my goodness, Fulcrum, that is a very, very aggressive ultimate. Let's see if it still pays off for your team. Oh, Doomfist, you're going bold, my friend.
Still managing to stay alive, though, and Smell is able to actually get the hit onto Panda.
We hear it's an illusion, pop that ultimate. Let's see if they survive or if they get one of their own teammates destroyed. Because we are perfectly mirrored between Genjis right now. Coalescence is both getting popped. And it does look like Mango is going to put some damage on the Doomfist, but it's not going to do anything. Their own monkey, though, needs a lot of assistance right now.
Joe making a great play there, already getting a double, keeping them for another fight. And Joe's been another really impressive player in the past few weeks. Great coordination with his team and helping his team focus to win the next fight.
Well, let's see if Joe can continue to do that to allow the Riptides to walk away with a victory here. We are at 2-fight territory right now. The Everest are looking to get 2.2. They really are hungry for it because they want to take us to a map 3, and I, of course, want us to see a map 3 as well. Chavis from has ult online, Panda Squad has the ult. Will they pop them? Will they need them? Fulcrum's going to go down to triplet, so right now Team Everest is already looking in a great position, and that Genji Blade's going to find one. Will it find another? It's going to struggle bus, but it'll find it.
But that's still enough time for the Riptides to reset there. They're going to have the Primal Rage, Genji Blade probably, and the Sound Barrier. Whereas Railgun just went online for Everest as well. See how Diamond Dog, how she can do with it. He's going to get pushed back, though, really far. He's trying to land some shots, but unable to, and taking a lot of damage in the process.
And we hear the Lucio beat to counter, and there goes the Genji Blade. Joe is hungry for them to support, but it does look like they're just kind of going to make some space. It happens.
Now, very crucially for this last fight, the only thing the Everest are going to have is this Coalescence. That's something the Riptides are probably going to have as well, and they're just getting right in their face.
I mean, when you're at last fight territory, push up. Take the space away from them. Why not?
Smell also using that railgun. Chum is Fum now just has the Meteor Strike too. You're gonna have to be cognizant of that. You don't really have anything to counter it.
Misery made manifest.
One last chance here for the Everest. Can they do it, or will this end right now? Payload is contested. Coalescence online for Turbo. There it goes, as well as the Meteor Strike. Joe trading. Panda Squad also managing. Look at Joe though with the double. Turning this fight around. But Panda Squad is good Genji in his own right as well. But Fulcrum now, it's going back and forth, a seesaw between these two teams. And the squad gets a pick onto Fulcrum. What a scrappy fight.
Illusion looking to pick up a couple here. Coalescence gets caught. Lucio is struggling to just stay on that heel. Panda unfortunately going down. Fulcrum is going to be back here in a couple seconds. Chum is Fum looking to stay alive and start getting hiccups right now. Diamond Dog survived for a very long time. Moira's one choosing to go with the heal, one choosing to go with damage. Riptides are very certain they're going to win this fight.
Wow, there you go. Riptides win it. So a whole day of nothing but 2s and 0s there. So unfortunately, you'll just probably have to wait a little bit longer to see push.
I mean, I waited, what, 2 years for Overwatch 2? I can wait a couple weeks for push.
Well, do you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers? Then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, both of those... Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You were getting hiccups. Now I'm starting to get them too, so thanks for spreading that, starting the train running. But anyway, now we go into the player of the game discussion, and there are so many great choices here.
Mine's going to go to Barbecue.
Yeah, Barbecue was really good too, but I could see them giving it to Joe as well. Like he had a lot of great choices, so we'll just have to see who production chooses.
Struggled
Looks
to
like the choice is gonna be
maintain
made
on that
right
point.
now. It is in fact... I think it could be. I'm just
Versus a side code,
it might
was
be
really
the
the
Echo.
only person
Actually, I
that
think
got-
it is the Echo. Yeah, it is Echo online.
Echo line. Yeah, I think it's Ichun. Yeah, it's Ichun. Ichun line. I am sorry, guys. Please send us a pronunciation guide. I'm already really bad at English as is, and most names are made up to begin with. Please send us a guide, please. I need it. I genuinely need it. I struggle.
Well, the player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success.
Oh, it's Echo Online. I'm stupid.
That player, Echo Online, is your ICCU player of the game.
We can sometimes read. Every letter is capitalized. It makes it hard. I don't know what's supposed to be the start of a word and what's supposed to be the end of a word. Okay? I am trying.
Eschuline. You went full Ron Burgundy there. I liked it, as we see Eschuline here, as I believe it's pronounced.
It's okay.
Well, any final thoughts, though?
My big takeaways are understand utility usages and stop letting Mercies get away with every res that they attempt. My goodness, you need to be punishing that. I see a Mercy straight up Guardian Angel to payload and still get the res off, and then they die. I get that you finally killed a Mercy, but if it's an Echo that got res, the Echo's going to get out anyway. So did you really do anything? No, it's a zero-sum thing, and you probably traded a lot of your util in order to do that. Please, please start calling out Mercies, start calling the Guardian Angel, and killing her when she's going for her res. It's really obvious, I promise you. They start looking shiny.
Well, I can't top advice like that, so I'm just going to say congratulations to all of our teams on a very exciting Week 6 Overwatch Rumble. The Wolves and Tsunamis are set for exciting Group A finals next week. Our defending champs, the Everest, took a tumble and leave Group B wide open for next week. So make sure to come back next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the thrilling conclusion to our Week 6 Rumbles and see who is crowned champion in Group A and B. We'll now leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Thank you for watching and enjoy your top 5 plays.
And the Big Dream has a Big Dream. He's hanging on to it. Almost has the Hack Visor online. Finds 10 more percent to go. That Moira is easy pickings, but the Big Dream looks like C-Squared said it's time to wake up, sweetheart, and set them back to the spawn.
And there goes Ana as well, trying to hop around and stay alive.
And Bad learned the hard way. You don't want to do it on the
Well, I just guess, you know, simple mathematically going from 6v6 to 5v5, you're just not as likely to run into somebody when you're trying to flank.
That is 100% true, but you got to keep in mind that if you're going to flank and you're alone, or you grab someone else with you, you are by default taking Primal Raid and be online for the Tsunami. So the counterability right now for the Tsunami is very high. But they need to play it smart, because that was 2 ultimates so far. And Lukey, please hang on to your feet, otherwise you might all become barbecue.
There you go. That's a whole team wipe right. And also see Tactical Visor brought out here. It's really a go for it. They just kind of duck back in the hallways, trying to wait it out. They're going to also throw out the Dragons right here in response. And Boys picks up a double, stopping the Wolves again from retaking the point.
And Mercy has decided to go for a res, screaming at your teammates to have them help you kill the stupids, and then they don't. And you were already really low health when you were engaging with this dude. And because no one helped you try and kill him, he's now gonna full punch you, and you're just gonna go with It's broken.
A lot of trades back and forth with Barbecue picking up a double, peppering damage.